Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. And today's video I'm doing my movie review Gauntlet 2, which is I'm not reviewing a movie called Gauntlet 2. I'm just trying to get through several movies as much as I can in like 20 minutes because I have a lot of movies I've seen that I haven't talked about on the channel. So I'm kind of going through the list of movies I've seen this year for the first time and kind of just doing some mini reviews, hopefully. Some of them are longer than others. But anyway, so that's the idea behind this video anyways. So please stay tuned and hope you enjoy this on Jason the Old Millennial. Hello, everybody. I hope everybody's doing great on this Sunday afternoon. It's been a little rainy here in Kansas. Of course, very, very hot and humid, as always here in July. As we're getting kind of towards the end of July, and my contest I'm doing is ending in August 1st, and so then I'll pick a name out of hat. Basically, I think I got 13 people so far. I think a 14th person maybe just did theirs today. Anyway, so I'll probably just pick one out of the hat, and I'll try to get to get in contact and hopefully send them an Amazon gift card and try to get to that as soon as I can. Anyway, so. Also, before I get into what I'm doing here, I also wanted to announce that I'm going to be on a live stream on Thursday on a channel of a guy named Jacob Martin, and his channel name is Jacob Martin. He does movie reviews and lots of stuff like live streams, and he does a lot of stuff. I mean, he puts out a lot of great stuff almost every day, it seems like. And he's one of my favorite guys to watch. And we talked a lot on Facebook and all this, and so got to kind of know him a little bit, and very excited that he invited me onto his channel to do a live stream collaboration. It's this Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, which I'm in Kansas. I'm Central Standard Time. So it's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is where Jacob's in Virginia, so he's on Eastern. So anyways, on my channel, if you're in Central Standard Time, it's 7 p.m. And whatever time period you're in, you have to, I guess, adjust to that, what period you're in. Be probably too late for anybody in England. England's going to be, early in the morning. So unfortunately, if you're in England, you're probably not going to be able to catch it. But anyways, real excited to go on there. We're going to do a top 10 ranking of our favorite music biopic movies. So that'll be very interesting to see if we got very similar aspects on that anyway. So I think it should be a lot of fun. So yeah, go on Jacob Martin's channel and tune in to see us talk about that. I think it'd be really great. So anyway, so I'm going to go through some movies. The one I just saw the other day, I thought I'd talk about is The Gray Man. It just came out on Netflix, I think Friday. It's kind of their next big movie on Netflix. And there've been a lot of reviews out already that I've seen anyways, and I kind of agree with a lot of them. I think The Gray Man's this action movie, has two pretty big stars in it. Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans are kind of the two big stars in it. And it's kind of this action spy, secret agent movie, I guess you can call it, that came out. And trailers look pretty decent, and I was pretty interested because of the casting. But overall, it's a very mediocre action film. And it's somewhat disappointing. And it was by the Russo brothers, who've done the Avenger movies and Captain America. So I was kind of surprised. I would expect more out of those two because they've done great movies, action movies, of course, with those. But overall, the action, like Elliot IMO review said, there's lots of shaky cam, and I agree. Like overall, the action, nothing really wowed me. But it's kind of hard to wow me after John Wick. I always say, every time I watch an action movie, I imagine what would John Wick do in the same situation, and John Wick would be much more interesting. And I feel this way, because the movie always felt like it wanted to be like a John Wick type of action movie with a shaky cam and lots of action. But I don't know, nothing just really wowed me, I guess, like I said, or did anything crazy. Story seemed very unoriginal. It seemed like it was a lot of different other ideas I've seen before in movies. I call it a combination of Born Identity, Equilibrium, and Man on Fire. I feel like there's some ideas kind of borrowed from all those movies. Because like Born Identity, there's kind of this secret organization in the government. That's why they call him the Gray Man. because like they do like secret assassinations and stuff like that, that, obviously you're not supposed to do, but it's like the secret, department in the government that nobody knows about, that kind of thing that we've seen before in a lot of movies. And Ryan Gosling plays like the main character, is the gray man, number 6. And then he meets somebody who's also used to be a gray man, and he's went against the system, and so it has this equilibrium thing of like, oh, the system is, corrupt. And at first, the Ryan Gosling character doesn't want to believe it, but then he starts seeing more information, and of course that something's wrong with the organization he's working for. And so I said Bourne. It's like Bourne because it's a secret organization, the government, and he's supposed to be this elite like fighter kind of guy. Anyway, so they call in Chris Evans' character to go kill him because he kind of has gone rogue against the organization. So it's one of those rogue things we've seen so many times before. Government agent person goes rogue. Then Man on Fire, because there's also this little girl that gets into the plot and gets kidnapped, and then he has to go try to save this little girl and all this. So it has a Man on Fire type vibe to it. Anyway, so it's all these different vibes, but none of it really works. Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans really weren't that great in it. They try to make them real jokey, like they're always saying like one-liners, and they're in danger. They're like in a dangerous situation, and they'll say some kind of funny one-liner. But none of the jokes really landed. I don't think either one did a great job with their parts. Like, I feel like Ryan Reynolds needed to be in this movie. Like, Ryan Reynolds, if he would have done either character, he would have probably nailed it a lot better because he has, I think, better comic timing than either one of them. And overall, I never really felt like Chris Evans or Ryan Gosling were this great, fighter that, like, I'm like, wow, I'm really impressed with their fighting style. Like, it was just very, like I said, generic fighting, I thought. Like, I never once thought, oh, this guy's a real, badass, part of my language, guy that you don't want to mess with, like I do with, like, a John Wick or something like that, So, I don't know. It just didn't really perform to the level that you would hope something like that would. So, yeah, I'd give it, like, a 2 out of 5 stars. I would definitely not recommend The Gray Man. I want to talk about Hustle. Was a Netflix movie that came out not too long ago by Adam Sandler, who kind of starred in it and produced it for sure, and started and produced it. And I don't know if he was very involved with it. Of course, it's about basketball, which Adam Sandler's a huge basketball fan. So I'm a little bit late on this reviewing it, but I watched it a little while ago, and it seemed like my kind of movie. I love basketball, and it's about a basketball scout who discovers a guy from Spain who is playing street ball, and he sees him playing street ball, and it's like, oh, this guy's really good, and tries to recruit him, tries to talk the organization to looking at him for the NBA draft and all this. And anyway, so it deals with that, and it feels like this kind of, again, it feels like it's been done before, kind of like, I think there was a Kevin Bacon movie back in the 90s called like The Air Up There, where he goes to Africa to recruit a guy that he sees on video that looks really good at basketball, that lives in this, of course, tribe, whatever, in Africa. And so it kind of had that vibe to it, and maybe Blue Chips kind of has that vibe in it. So I don't know, it just didn't feel like that original. In other sports, like baseball has done that, where they discover somebody from another country and go, oh, wow, this guy's really good. We need to, and everybody's like, no, we can't. No, this guy's no good. We don't know anything about him. Anyways, and it turns out he's like really great. So it feels like a trope that's been done before. That kind of hurts it to me. A lot of people, I think, were positive. I guess I didn't really care for the movie. And like I said, it felt like my kind of movie, so I'm surprised I didn't care about it. And it's kind of hard because they picked a guy that's in the NBA, but he's not like a great NBA player. He's just like this role player in the NBA I've never heard of. And, and they got him because he looks good in basketball, but he's not really an actor. And I think it shows, in the acting scenes, he wasn't really that charismatic, or I didn't really care about him. And he looks okay. I mean, he's, got good length to him and athleticism to him. He felt a little skinny, though. Like, if I was NBA scout, I'd be like, this guy's just a little too skinny. He's not really... And you can't... And the thing that bothered me is, like, you can't just watch a guy playing street ball and go, oh, this guy can make it in the NBA. It's like, no, he needs to be playing consistent, very good competition, for a season, like in college. That's when you really know if a guy's good. You have to see it. What does he do against the top tier talent, and is he consistent with everything from shooting to rebounding to shot blocking and defense, whatever, So I have a hard time with these kind of movies where it's like, oh, we saw this guy play street ball one time, and we think he's going to be the next, whatever. So I don't know. I didn't really buy into the athlete being the great and being somebody a scout would want to go to. I don't know. That was my opinion. So I would say Adam Sandler, this is probably one of the best performances I've seen out of him. I was kind of like, it wasn't a funny movie, really. I mean, it had some jokes, but it was mostly a drama. And so I was impressed with Adam Sandler. He actually really grown, I think, as an actor from being the goofy, that kind of stuff back in the Saturday Night Live days. So I would commend him on that, but still, it wasn't quite my movie. I would give it, though, 2.5, out of 5 stars. So I wouldn't say it's a terrible movie, but still not one I would recommend. Another movie I saw recently at my parents' house, actually, was a movie called Larry Crowne, which was Tom Hanks, Julia Roberts led movie. And it was a romantic comedy, basically. I think back in 2011 it came out. And I remember coming out, and I'm a huge Tom Hanks fan. He's like my favorite actor that's working today. And I'm so used to seeing him in these like really grand, Oscar type roles in real life characters. And it was weird seeing him in a romantic comedy. I remember when it came out, I was like Tom Hanks doing just a regular, he's so much better than a romantic comedy, I guess was what I thought. So I remember the movie came out, I didn't think anything of it. I don't know if it did anything in the box office or was really talked about that much. But anyway, so I just figured it wasn't a very good movie. And then my dad was like, "Oh, it's a pretty good movie." And so I was at his house, at my parents' house, and we watched it. And I really love this movie. I said, maybe not love, but I really like it. I thought it was a really solid romantic comedy. Someone like Tom Hanks, who's more in his 50s at this point, maybe I think at that point. And but Tom Hanks is so good. I mean, he is funny in the movie, and he's so likable. I mean, if you want to get a likable actor or a likable character, I mean, Tom Hanks is the first guy you call. I mean, he just can't help it be a guy that you enjoy and like to see on screen and want to root for. Anyways, and Julia Roberts, of course, a great actress, and she was fine in it. But yeah, I highly recommend Larry Crowne if you ever get a chance to see it. If you haven't seen it, I thought it was a solid romantic comedy that was very funny. Anyway, so yeah, check out Larry Crowne. I'll give it, like a 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was a really good movie as far as romantic comedies go. I was gonna just touch on Spider-Man: No Way Home. I talked about it a lot on my live stream with Adam from What the Gym on Friday. It's my second favorite MCU movie. I absolutely love this movie. It is amazing movie, one of the best superhero movies I've ever seen, and the best Spider-Man movie I've ever seen by far. And I love what they did with the character and with the multiverse and bringing back all the other actors from the other Spider-Man movies. Also just so amazing. And it was very funny. Action was amazing, and also very emotional. I found myself crying, at least one specific scene. So yeah, I couldn't recommend Spider-Man: No Way Home anymore and than that. Anyway, so that's Spider-Man: No Way Home. Definitely give it like 4.5 out of 5 stars. It's almost like a perfect movie, 5-star movie to me. I want to talk about the Batman. Of course, it came out theaters a little while ago, and I saw it a couple months or so ago when it came on HBO Max. Of course, anytime Batman comes out, it's always a big deal. Batman's very popular superhero, especially after the Christopher Nolan movies. And so then we had the Justice League movies with Ben Affleck as Batman, and that didn't last very long. And now we got another Batman, which is Robert Pattinson. And I have to say, when I first heard about Robert Pattinson being Batman, I don't know, he just doesn't feel like Batman to me. And maybe I'm being too judgmental of him because of like Twilight or whatever. But like, I don't know, he just doesn't seem big enough. I don't know, he just seems like a skinny punk, I guess, to me all the time. I know he's older now, but I was just thinking of this kind of skinny punk, emo guy and pretty boy. And I don't know, he didn't look like a Batman to me. And anyway, so I was never very excited about this movie, and I didn't see it in theaters. But of course, when it came on HBO Max, I was like, yeah, I'll check it out. I'll check anything out on streaming. Anyway, so, and I would say it wasn't as terrible as I thought it was. I think it was a decent movie. Like, I'd give it a 3 out of 5 stars. I'd give it like a light recommend. Like, I don't know if I'd watch it again, but it's not a bad movie to watch once at least. It's very long. I think it's 2.5 hours. Um, I would say though, I love all of the characters outside of Batman. Like Paul Dano, always a great actor. I thought was so great as the Riddler. You know, the Riddler wasn't like the Riddler. Like he looked nothing like or acted like what I think the Riddler should be like. And he was more like a serial killer, like from Zodiac or something. But still, it was a good performance and it was a good character. I also thought, now I'm forgetting names, but the guy who played Penguin, I thought did a really good job. Of course, they put a lot of fat suit on him, makeup, so he didn't look like the real guy. And I thought I liked the Penguin. I thought they did a good job with Penguin on it. And I also liked Catwoman. I thought it was a good Catwoman. And there's been so many Catwomans, you know. And it's a good character. And I think her name's Zoe Kravitz, does a very good job. I really quite liked her in it. The action, I think, and Matt Reeves, who directs it, is a really good director. He's definitely one of those directors I always look at. When he comes out with a movie, I'm kind of interested in it because I think he directs very well. And this movie's really directed well and has some cool, like there's a really cool chase scene with Batman and the Penguin that I enjoyed in the rain. And, you know, so he shoots very well. I love the way the camera moves in the movie. I say the low point though is Robert Pattinson. I thought he was terrible as Batman. That really brings the movie down more than anything. Is again he was like this emo Batman who like skulks and just looks downtrodden and just has no charisma. And like he didn't look bad. He looked okay in the Batman suit, and the action was decent when he was doing it, so that wasn't bad. But just the way they portrayed him, it wasn't my favorite Batman. So anyway, so yeah, so that's what I thought about Batman. I have just a little bit of time. Let's see. I want to talk about News of the World, another Tom Hanks movie that I remember coming out, and it just didn't look that interesting to me. So I didn't go to theaters. But of course, I don't go to theaters really ever. So I always say that, but only if it's a really really big movie. But I caught this on HBO Max, I believe, when it came out some months ago. And I thought it was actually not a bad movie. Again, I'd give it like a 3 out of 5 stars, like a light recommend. Not a movie that I would be crazy about seeing again, but again, I really love Tom Hanks, and he was like solid in it. It wasn't like a big Oscar role like I like seeing him in, but he does a decent job, and he's such a good actor. And it's really a Western. I didn't realize how much a Western it was. There's some shootouts, there's a chase scene, all these things, all these terrible things keep happening to him as he's trying to transport this girl to his family. Anyways, so it's kind of him just surviving all these bad things, all these bad people, which like the West sounds terrible because back in that day, because man, there's so many people trying to kill you and that just, you're traveling and they just can, jump on you at any time. Anyways, but yeah, so I thought it was a solid like Western movie anyways. So it's not a bad one if you catch it on HBO Max. I think Tom Hanks gives a really good performance, I think, for a movie like that. Overall. So yeah, not a bad movie, News of the World. And I'm gonna try to fit one more movie in, and that would be the 1517 to Paris, which is a Clint Eastwood movie, and it was based on a true story of these I can't remember when this was, but these 3 Americans were on a train in Paris, and a terrorist comes out and is going to shoot everybody on the train, but they stop him from doing that, and they were heroes, and yeah, definitely heroes, and that's why they made this movie. There's this weird choice of where Clint Eastwood picks the actual 3 Americans that actually were in the situation as in the movie playing themselves, which was such a weird. I remember when this movie first it's like Clint Eastwood's such a good director that you think maybe he has something. Who knows? Maybe he knows something we don't. But normally I would not think that's a good idea. You want real actors playing those characters. Anyway, so of course the acting wasn't very good, and you kind of expected it because they weren't actors, and you knew that. So it kind of made you had low expectations, but still, it's like, man, I really wish they would have gotten like good actors in those spots, maybe. And overall, I thought it was really not a very good movie. Like I'd give it 2 out of 5 stars. I thought it was a really poorly done movie, and it's such a great moment, and the actual moment the whole movie is going to this one moment. And the one moment only lasts like 5-10 minutes. I mean, it doesn't last very long. It's just this guy comes out and they attack him, and they, he puts him in a chokehold and makes him go to sleep, and they tie him up, and that's the whole story. So it's really not that grand of a story, though it was a, very heroic deed that they did, and it's a great news story for sure. But it didn't really make for a great climax, I thought. So it was kind of a weak, wasn't the greatest story to try and make a movie out of, because they had to fill it in with all this stuff, and that wasn't that interesting. And there's like 20 minutes of the movie where they're just on vacation. They're just traveling through Europe. And so it's like you're just watching somebody's home video of their European trip, which is fine, but we didn't need this movie. There was nothing going on, nothing plot-wise. Anyway, so it definitely didn't pace very well, and the acting was pretty terrible. So overall, I wish it would have been better, because I love the heroic situation. I like these kind of movies, but overall, it's, I knew it wasn't getting good reviews, so I can't say I was disappointed, but I kind of wish it was better than it was, anyways. But yeah, and Clint Eastwood's usually pretty good, so he's 90 years old or something, so maybe he's losing his touch. But anyway, so I got through about 7 movies on this one, so that's my end of this movie Gauntlet Part 2. So I'll have many more where I'm trying to get through a lot of these movies and give my quick thoughts on them anyway. So thank you to everybody watching this. Thank you to everybody liking the video. And thank you to all the subscribers for supporting the channel. I really appreciate all of you, and I hope you have a good day.